Okay, guys, we're going to be predicting the WrestleMania match card for night 1 and 2 with the official theme in the background. I have to turn it down a little bit so I don't get copyrighted. So, that's a little bit too early. I have to turn it down a little bit. Like there's fine. Okay. So, the first match we have is a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Showcase match, which is the women's match. To be honest, I don't really know why this match is on the card. I think it's just on the card to get extra faces and talent on the WrestleMania card. I'm going to go Ronda and Shayna win this. I don't see Natty and Shotzi. I don't see Raquel and Liv. And I don't see Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. I think Ronda and Shayna win, and then they get a shot at whoever the women's tag team champions are going to be going forward. I think that's what they've been building to. So I think that's probably what's going to happen there. So that's that match out of the way. Not much to talk about that match. And after that, you got Brock Lesnar and Omos. Now, I've been going back and forth on this. First of all, I don't know why this match is happening. It definitely screams Vince McMahon to me that he's back and he's booking this stuff, this match particularly. Brock has had some solid WrestleMania matches over the years, and Brock has a thing, I think, in his contract where he gets to pick who he wants to work with. And so if he chose to, I guess, maybe work with Omos, then I guess maybe the match will be okay. I just don't get why it's happening. I don't know. It's not really a WrestleMania match to me. I'd rather have Brock do something else at Mania, potentially. But this match is happening one way or another. I don't think Brock's losing at Mania. Unless Brock's not coming back to the company, I do not see Brock losing at Mania. So I'm going to say Brock Lesnar wins. It doesn't hurt Omos. I'm going to say Brock wins. It's going to be a match where a bunch of big moves are hit. You're going to see some F5s, probably some suplex cities, probably some choke slams, among other things. But in the end, I think Brock's going to win it. I don't see Brock losing. I really do not see Omos beating Brock Lesnar. So I got Brock Lesnar in that. And what should be a giant Clash of Giants match is what I'll describe it as. Now, the next match you have is the WrestleMania Tag Team Men's Showcase match. Again, I think it's just a way to get more people on the card, which I'm okay with for the men. And the men's one's a little more intriguing to me because you got the Street Profits, you got Braun and Ricochet, you got the Alpha Academy, you got the Viking Raiders. Now, if you had to ask me to pick one team to win, I'm probably going to say the Street Profits win it. Alpha Academy's kind of doing other things right now. Braun and Ricochet, unless they want to push them. But I think the Street Profits win, and then that leads into the Street Profits versus Sami and KO for the tag team titles. So that should give you my prediction on the tag team title match. But there's more behind when I talk about those matches. But I think it's going to be the Street Profits going over Braun and Ricochet, going over the Alpha Academy, and going over the Viking Raiders to win the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team WrestleMania Showcase match. I just don't see any of those other three teams winning. So I think the Street Profits win that. Now you got the 6-woman tag. You got Lita, Trish, and Becky against Damage Control. Now, I like this match. I think it's going to be a good match. I think it's a good way to showcase the legends here. I read a report that Trish is supposed to turn heel and work a feud with Bayley, I believe. Work a feud with Becky, I believe, heading into SummerSlam. And so I think Damage Control are going to win this match based on Trish Stratus turning heel on Lita and Becky Lynch. And then I think that in turn leads to Lita and Becky dropping the women's tag team titles to Ronda and Shayna whenever that may be. But I think Lita, Trish, and Becky are going to lose due to Trish turning heel, giving Damage Control the win at WrestleMania. Just because I read a report that Trish is supposed to turn heel. So they're going to have to kickstart that somehow. Next match is one of my favorites on the Raw Women's division, Bianca Belair, who's had a pretty good reign but it's getting a little stale. I'm going to be honest. Against a returning, probably my favorite version of Asuka, the dangerous, the just absolutely despicable Asuka version we got right now. Bianca's had that title for a year. She's had some great feuds, great matches. But I think I would have rather seen Bianca and Rhea, but it didn't happen that way. But I'm okay with Bianca and Asuka. I think there's no way Asuka does not win. Given her character right now, and given the fact that she had to go through an elimination chamber to get this opportunity, I think Asuka's going to beat Bianca Belair, and either one of two things is going to happen. Either at the draft, Bianca's going to go to SmackDown, or she's going to turn heel. One of those two things I can see happening. But I think Asuka is going to win the Raw Women's title. I don't know in dominant fashion. I think it will be a good match. I think Asuka's going to look strong because she's been booked strong. I think Asuka takes the victory against Bianca Belair, becoming the new Raw Women's Champion. So that's my prediction on the Raw Women's Championship match. Just because I don't see Bianca retaining. She's had that title for a year. It's been a great reign, but I think it's Asuka's time. Next, you got probably one of my favorite matches I'm looking forward to up there. The Triple Threat Intercontinental title match. Where it's going to be Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre versus the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. Now, this one has a lot of story behind it. First of all, you have the story of Drew and Sheamus, their relationship. Then you also have the story of Sheamus has never won the Intercontinental Championship. And if he wins that title, he becomes a Grand Slam champion for the first time. Gunther has had a great reign. Do not get me wrong. He has had a dominant reign as Intercontinental Champion. He has had a dominant run on the main roster since he came. Since Triple H took over and started booking him on the main roster, he's been dominant. I want to see him get to the level to where he's like, I want to see him get to that main event level. Right now, where he's at, he's almost there. I think what needs to happen in this match is you need to have Sheamus win the Intercontinental Championship. I think Gunther needs to drop the title and move on to the main event picture. I think Sheamus wins the title, he becomes a Triple Crown champion, and there's a lot of matches you can do with Sheamus as champion on SmackDown. 2, I think the person who needs to take the pin, this might be a little controversial, I think Gunther needs to take the pin. Because whoever beats Gunther for the title is going to get skyrocketed. So if Sheamus pins Gunther, he's going to get skyrocketed at the top. A lot of momentum is going to come from that. And it doesn't hurt Gunther, because Gunther then is going to go to the main event picture and be challenging for the world title. Drew, I don't know what you do with Drew after Mania. If Sheamus pins Gunther, then Drew and Sheamus can maybe run it back for the Intercontinental title, because Drew could say, I never got pinned, or whatever. But I think Sheamus wins the Intercontinental Championship by pinning Gunther. Gunther goes on in the main event picture. Sheamus goes on to be Intercontinental Champion and hopefully have some bigger matches. And Gunther can go on to challenge whoever the world champion may be. I think that's how you book it perfectly. But yeah, I think Sheamus is going to win the IC title. Next match you got is one I'm also looking forward to. U.S. Champion Austin Theory against challenger John Cena. Now, Cena, has not been very active, right? He's pretty much part-timer now. This match was rumored to happen for a while. I think Theory picked out Cena. Cena came back a few weeks ago on Raw, absolutely buried Theory in a promo, which I thought was great. Now, there's one of two things you could do here. You can have Cena put over Theory, and Theory could be skyrocketed to the moon. And hopefully that gives him a better push and crowd reaction, because Cena pointed out that the crowd reaction he's getting is not good. Pretty much. Or you can have Cena win, and this is what I propose. Right? Cast your mind to stay in the liver. Okay? Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker are facing for the NXT Championship. Carmelo Hayes beats Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker gets called up. I'm assuming Braun Breaker's going to get called up after WrestleMania weekend. So what we can do is you can have Cena win, in either one of two things. Or you can do either one. You could have Theory win, and then either hold an open challenge on night 2, have Braun Breaker come out and beat Theory for the U.S. title, and that's how you kickstart Braun Breaker on the main roster. Or you can have Cena win, Cena do an open challenge either on night 2 or Raw after Mania, and have either Braun Breaker come out and answer it, or Matt Cardona answer it. Either way, I think if you do the Braun Breaker route, he comes on the main roster, he skyrocketed. If you do the John Cena route, it's still a U.S. Open challenge. Cardona comes back, it's a returning guy. But in my honest opinion, I think Theory's going to retain. I don't think Cena's going to want to bury Theory. I think Cena's going to put over Theory. And so Theory's going to win, and then either Theory has an open challenge and loses it, or he holds on to it for a little bit longer. I don't know. But I think if you want to bring an NXT talent on the main roster, having him beat the champion, having Braun Breaker beat the champion on night 1 is a way to just absolutely perfect way to debut Braun Breaker. But we'll see what happens. But I'm going Theory in this. A lot of good matches so far. The night 1 and night 2 cards are looking pretty good. Next one. Now, we were waiting for this to happen for months. And it finally did happen the other week on SmackDown, which was... the crowd popped for it. I'll tell you that right now. And that match is going to be WWE Hall of Famer. Congrats, Rey Mysterio, by the way. WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. Going one-on-one with his son, Dominic Mysterio. Just one-on-one. Now, I don't think Rey's retiring. I know he's going to the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's retiring. I think he wanted this match, though, at WrestleMania. So maybe the plan was for him to retire and he wanted one final match with his son, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I think Rey Mysterio wins here. And you either get Dominic leaving the Judgment Day and reuniting with his father, or you continue this feud up until SummerSlam, to then where Dominic leaves the Judgment Day and rejoins his father as a face. I don't know if I would do that, though. I would have Rey win and maybe continue this feud and Dominic be a heel. Or you flip it, Dominic wins and then you continue the feud and Rey gets a win. Either way, I think Rey should win here. I think Rey deserves to win after everything that Dom and the Judgment Day have put him through in storyline purposes. I think Rey winning here would make a lot of sense because he's in the Hall of Fame. It would make sense if he gets the victory. So I'm going Rey Mysterio, and then after this, I would have Dominic either continue his heel run, or you have him turn face again, whatever, etc. But I think Rey Mysterio wins here. Next match is going to be, let me think, what was the next match? I can't think of what was next on the card. Give me one sec, you guys. The next match on the card. There's a lot of matches. Was it Seth and Logan? It might have been Seth and Logan. Pretty sure. Yes. Seth Rollins and Logan Paul is next. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Seth Rollins wins. He's been knocked out twice. I don't think he's going to lose at WrestleMania. I think Seth Rollins wins, beats Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul goes away for a little bit, and then he might return around SummerSlam. But I don't think Logan Paul's beating Seth Rollins at Mania. I think Seth wins. It's going to be a decent match because Logan Paul puts on decent matches. But I think Seth is going to beat Logan Paul, and we're going to get on from this feud finally. And hopefully Seth Rollins can go on to challenge for a World Championship again, because Lord knows he deserves that, man. Now, the next one I want to get into is going to be a lot of fun. Edge versus Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell match. Which, it's not just any Finn Balor. It's Demon Finn Balor against probably Brood Edge in a Hell in a Cell match. Now, this feud with Edge and Finn Balor, I feel like has been going on for a year now, at least. I think Edge finally needs to get a win to end it. I think Edge needs to end this feud at Mania. I think having Edge go over in a Hell in a Cell match against Demon Balor is a perfect way to end the feud. And Edge can go on and maybe have one last run challenging for the title. And Balor can maybe go on to a main card title feud, which I would love to see them two get pushed to the main event again. I think you're going to see a lot of surprises here. I think you got the original Hell in a Cell back, which is not the red anymore. Thank God. You got, I think you're going to see Gangrel. And I think potentially, if Tony Khan allows it, you'll see Christian to reunite the full brood for one night only. I think you see Purple Demon because of Judgment Day. But I do think Edge goes over Balor. I think Damian Priest is going to have a big role in this match. But I think Edge goes over Demon Finn Balor here at Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. I think that's what's going to happen. Next match you got is Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Now, when Rhea won the Rumble, I thought she would go challenge for the Raw title, but I guess the plans were always for Rhea to challenge Charlotte to run that match back from a few years ago. Which I'm okay with. I wish the story was a little bit better, the build was a little bit better, but we all know who's going to win this. It's not really hard to tell, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one either. Rhea Ripley's going to win. She's going to move over to SmackDown, maybe permanently, and then defend that title on SmackDown. And Charlotte might move back over to Raw in the draft. We'll see what happens. But I think that Rhea wins the SmackDown Women's Championship, obviously, and then Charlotte gets drafted to Raw, and Rhea has a dominant reign. So that's the short end of that match. Now, this match, which I think should be night one main event, has so much story behind it, so many ins and inner workings of it, should be the main event, which is the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. This match is going to be probably one of the best tag team matches in WWE history. This is going to be the culmination of one of the best storylines in WWE history. I've never seen a storyline that has been this good in WWE history since probably the Attitude Era. I mean, this is just amazing. I think this should be the night one main event. Is it? We'll have to figure that out when it comes. But I think KO and Sami win. I don't think the Usos retain here. I think their tag team title reign has been long, and I think this is the perfect way to end it. I think maybe you get some shenanigans with Cody Rhodes out here coming out, maybe helping Sami and KO win the tag titles. But I think the Usos drop the titles, and Sami and KO become tag team champions for the first time, and they go on to have a fruitful reign with a lot of different matchups. And the Usos, who knows what they do, but I think Sami and KO win. I think it's the perfect storybook ending to the whole Bloodline and Sami and KO storyline. Not the whole Bloodline storyline in itself, but just the Sami and KO part of the Bloodline storyline. I think that's the perfect way to end it. I have Sami and KO take the tag titles from the Usos after everything that they've been through. And I think this should be the night one main event. But of course, I have Sami and Kevin Owens dethroning the Usos at WrestleMania. Oh man, now the big match, right? Now the big match. Also, before we get into the final match, a few predictions. I think you're going to see some surprises on the show. I think you'll see some random segments on the show with The Miz. I think Bobby and LA Knight will be on the show somehow. I think possibly Bray Wyatt may be there. Alexa Bliss. I think a lot of those names that haven't been on TV lately might show up. I could see like a Randy Orton showing up. Just a few quick predictions there. Surprises, returns, random segments, like it's WrestleMania. You never know. Now, the final match of the WrestleMania card. Match I've been struggling back and forth in my head of who should win. Cody Rhodes, who did win the Royal Rumble, against the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns, who is so close to 1,000 days. Now, the first thing I'll say is I love Cody Rhodes. Don't get me wrong, right? But he got hurt, he was out, and he comes back and wins the Rumble, and automatically he just gets a title shot. I know that's how the Rumble works, but I feel like there's not enough story there. There's not enough build there. There's not enough. He hasn't done enough. He hasn't struggled enough. It's like he came back, won the Rumble, and now he's just automatically getting the title shot. I don't think they've done enough to build up the story. I don't think they've done enough to show you how Cody's struggled. I just don't think so. I don't think they've done enough of all that to show you all that. So as much as it pains me to say this, I think Roman Reigns retains the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania. I think it gets to 1,000 days. Now, I still think Cody is the guy to dethrone him. Don't get me wrong. I think Roman retains, probably with the Usos interference, probably with Solo's interference, all the Bloodline shenanigans, whatever. Roman retains. Then, you kind of have Cody fighting the Bloodline. Struggling more. Like, fighting an uphill battle against the Bloodline. Pretty much. Then, I think at SummerSlam, you finally do Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And that is where Cody Rhodes finally dethrones Roman Reigns. Cody goes on to be champion. Either he is WWE champion or Universal champion. I think you should just split the titles. Maybe. I think Cody should be the Raw champion. You should crown a different champion on SmackDown, etc. Roman goes on and takes a vacation. But yeah, my final prediction is just based on the fact that Cody is not strong enough and the story is not there for me to see Cody as a legit champion yet. I think Roman Reigns retains. I think Cody Rhodes loses. I think you build up Roman versus Cody at SummerSlam. Then Cody Rhodes dethrones Roman Reigns. But those are my predictions for the WrestleMania match card this weekend. It's looking to be a really good show. I'm really excited for it. We're going to do a post-show on both nights. And we're going to go from there and stay and deliver. We're also going to do a post-show on Saturday afternoon. But those are my predictions. Really good show coming up this weekend. Excited.